Oh, man.
Leave it to the frickin' Clippers to just find ways to upset me and continue to piss me off. The Clippers did it again. The Clippers are doing it again. God, I hope these rumors, this interest is all a farce. And I hope that the Clippers do not go the way of trying to get or and acquire Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry. So, apparently there was a report on Sunday night where Mark Stein essentially reported that the Clippers are potentially interested in Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry. We know this because a few years ago, the Clippers tried to get Kyle Lowry because that is the idealistic point guard I guess the Clippers were looking for. And then also to Chris Paul was potentially interested in coming back to the Clippers. Now, fun fact, the playoff game I went to, Chris Paul was actually there courtside. I hope that's not like some sort of indication or some sort of freaking sign. The Clippers front office looked at that, posting at the NBA on the NBA.com or whatever. I don't even remember that if the Clippers even acknowledged him being there on the Jumbotron. But regardless, the Clippers probably saw that freaking social media post that Chris Paul was at the Clipper game at game 2, and they're like, maybe we actually should probably bring him back, aka Lawrence Frank mostly probably thought that. Anyways, a report by Tomer or an article by Tomer Azerli, Clippers beat reporter, talked about this. He ended up saying in this article on today's Memorial Day, the Los Angeles Clippers have a number of crucial decisions to make this offseason, a lot of which centered around their guard play, which the futures of James Harden, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook currently in limbo. Enter Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry. According to longtime NBA insider Mark Stein, the Clippers are eyeing the potential futures of both their former Hall of Fame point guard Chris Paul, and as well as former Philadelphia 76ers guard Kyle Lowry. Stein said the Clippers, I'm told, should be added to the list of teams that could emerge as suitor for potential free agent Chris Paul. Caveats are immediately required in this situation since Paul might not even make it to free agency if the Warriors decide to keep him next month. To keep him or trade him to a team that wants to keep him. So let me stop right there. We have to basically get Chris Paul through a trade, which only would mean we would be giving up more fucking assets. We'd be giving up assets to another Western Conference team. Why? Oh, wait. Lawrence Frank has that ideology. F them picks, right? The article goes on to say, in terms of Mark Stein's report, I know, nonetheless, heard this week that Paul and Kyle Lowry, whose free agency is looming after finishing last season in Philadelphia, are veteran guards said to interest the Clippers. With a further variable to factor in stemming from Russell Westbrook's still to be determined status, Westbrook has a $4 million player option for next season that he must decide on by June 29th. The article says the Clippers' interest in both Paul and Lowry isn't surprising given how veteran laden the team has been the last few years as they pursue their organization's first ever NBA championship. That they fail to realize that they need to get younger. The key needs the offseason. Their key needs this offseason, however, are the same as they were last offseason. They need to get younger and more athletic around Kawhi, Leonard, Paul George, and if James Harden is still there, should they choose to run that trio back again. Um, what up, Paul George, and blah 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 blah. The article just kind of breaks down other simple shit, which is really the trio. It continues on going to talk about acquiring Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry, who, if they do acquire them, are one of the two. Chris Paul is 39 years of fucking age. Lowry is just a year younger than him. Chris Paul just averaged career lows across the board. And Kyle Lowry only averaged 8.1 points, 3.2 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and one steal per game in 28 minutes. If you're wondering what Chris Paul had, he had 9.2 points, 3.6 rebounds, 6.8 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. Oh my God. You know, the Clippers are just never going to figure it out, huh? Lawrence Frank is just never going to understand. He is not going to get it, is he? He's not going to understand that this team needs to get youthful. They need to get more athletic. They need to have a heavy in dose of wings on this team. Wings, mind you, that have length, they have size, and they can defend, as well as they can hit shots. That's what the Clippers need if you're going to run this stupid trio back of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden. That's what they need. It hides the deficiencies of all those players. You see, I can't believe I'm saying this, but you see what the fucking Dallas Mavericks are doing? The acquisition of PJ Tucker and Daniel Gafford's only helping them. It's only helping them. It's hiding the deficiencies of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Take PJ Washington, take Gafford away, they are nobodies. And you already got dummies already spouting, well, the Clippers took these guys 6 games, so that must mean it. And oh my God. You know, if fans are going to really believe this hype that the Clippers took the Mavericks 6 games, which means, oh, we gave the Mavericks their best shot. And if it wasn't for us and it wasn't for a Kawhi injury away, we would have beat these guys. Well, see, here's the fucking problem with that. They were none of the things like Kawhi being there. Well, he was there, but he wasn't healthy, clearly. And Paul George not showing up. That didn't change a damn thing. And this is why I'm afraid that if the Dallas Mavericks end up winning, get into the NBA Finals, they're going to win it, and they win it all against the Boston Celtics. The Clippers front office, Lawrence Frank, is going to look at this and be like, well, number one, they finished as a middle of the pack seed, something that rarely happens. So I guess what that means, even though I said that rarely happens, the Clippers are going to just be like, well, that means we don't have to take the regular season seriously now since we tried that and that didn't end up going right? So let's half-ass it. Just get to the playoffs, get to the dance, and we'll turn the switch on. Number two, they'll look at that as an excuse if the Dallas Mavericks win the championship just to run it back again and say the whole thing of, well, we didn't have Kawhi healthy 100% of the time. We would have beat those guys. We would have been winning the championship if it wasn't for we would have been the guys winning the championship. We would have been the guys in the NBA Finals if Kawhi was healthy when they failed to realize and neglect that OKC would have beat them in the second round because OKC is a better constructed team than they are. And two, even if they found some way to get past OKC, I don't know if they're beating fucking Minnesota because they were not a good matchup against Minnesota, despite how Minnesota looks now. So it's gonna, but also getting back to the point. Getting back to the point. It's simple. It is simple. Lawrence Frank has no idea what he's fucking doing. No idea what he's doing. Because guess what? Why are we trying to be interested in old point guards? Old point guards that are basically 40 years of age by NBA standards. And this is not dang near LeBron James, 39 years of age, going on 40 level of play. This is guys that you can clearly see it's probably best if they're going to give it another year. It should be their final year in the NBA, and they should just retire and say, look, it sucks for Chris Paul. It sucks. He didn't get to the NBA Finals. Well, he got to the NBA Finals, but he didn't win a championship. Boo-hoo. He's still going to probably be in Hall of Fame point guard, regardless. Just call it a career. Kyle Lowry already got his freaking championship. So whatever he's doing, he's just basically running around doing nothing, trying to enjoy whatever last minutes or last few days of NBA basketball playing career he has left. I don't see what he has else to freaking prove or do anymore. He won a championship in Toronto. He played 1 year at home in Philadelphia because he came from the school Villanova or whatever. He was in a few years in Miami. What else does the guy have to prove? He should retire, sign a one-day contract with Toronto, and retire and be a Toronto Raptor. But no, the Clippers want to bring them in because, oh, well, we had ties in the past to these guys. So is this further admitting that they were both wrong about James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and they're willing to move off on these guys? Do they not understand that the team needs to get freaking younger? Again, I hope this report about this interest is absolute 100% complete false. Because if it is, if there's any truth to this, then I have a huge problem. It just shows me the Clippers do not get it, and they will continue not to get it, and they won't continue to get it till the guys that are in the positions they are in are out of a position that they are in. And where's Steve Ballmer and all this nonsense? Nowhere to be found. He's just letting Lawrence Frank do whatever he can, do whatever he needs to do to so-called get Clipper fans to try to buy in. Even the most positive Clipper fans on social media. If we get if we get Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry, 100% will not believe that this team is going absolutely anywhere. Even the most positive ones that don't want to say a negative word in their damn bone about the Clippers, who are fans of the team, will have to be like, what are they cooking over there? It's not working. Why are we getting older? You know, I've just been thinking as of late. Man. You know, maybe after the bubble choke job, when Kawhi Leonard and Paul George both mentioned respectively, but it was morely Kawhi, about the team needing to acquire a point guard. I feel like that comment alone had done this team in from that point on. Because ever since then, this organization has been hell-bent to find this idealistic point guard that they continuously try to freaking spew to the fan base that they need. But smart fans, honestly, at this point are just like, dude, it's just Kawhi Leonard and Paul George running away from the accountability of not wanting to take ownership of the fact that when their team loses, they want us to look at the team's roster construction. Yes, don't get me wrong. The roster construction the past few years for the Clippers has been god-awful. And some of that has to do strictly, plain and I'll be honest, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, when they keep begging for people that they want to get, they get what they want. It doesn't end the way that they thought it would. And then they're like, well, can we try this guy now? And the fucking front office just caves into these guys. But going back to my original point, I feel like that comment they made about getting a point guard did them in. Because ever since that comment after the bubble, where Kawhi Leonard talked about we need a point guard, a guy to facilitate the offense. Paul George talking about he would like a guy to have the ball out of his hand, a guy to hold the ball so he can have the ball out of his hands because he played better. Remember the whole thing about, basically what's I forgot. I forgot the comment Paul George made or something like that. He wanted to be more on ball instead of freaking being a JJ Redick type player and shit like that or whatever. And only to like 2 years after that, he's like, yeah, I'm more better off the ball than on the ball. What am I saying? So who cares about whatever Paul George says? Actually, let me talk about Paul George in a quick second about the contract details or whatever. Anyways, um, yeah, ever since that, they've just been continuously running through point guards. And the worst part is, all these point guards that they've acquired have been old. Outside of maybe Bones Highland, none of these point guards have been young. Let's look at it. Patrick Beverly, injury prone and old. Rajon Rondo, old. John Wall, old. Reggie Jackson, he was quite young, but regardless, he's still somewhat relatively by NBA standards old because the man was almost out of the goddamn league. He's had a revival since going to Denver. So after John Wall, another old player, they acquire Russell Westbrook, old. Then they trade for James Harden, old. Now they're interested in two other point guards in Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry. What is the thing? They're both old. It's funny. It's funny, man. I don't know if the Clippers are trying to actively run their fans away, but they truly are. They truly are. They even think about acquiring, or they even think about getting Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry, and they get one of those guys and they're on the roster. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said I would like to be in Intuit Dome the first night of a brand new stadium. I might actually have to think about it, actually, and might actually potentially not go to support this god awful product that they keep trying to put on the court, and they know it's not going to work, but they just think, well, ticket sales, people will come to go see Kyle. No, 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 no. I don't want to see that. They're really testing my patience as a fan in terms if I should even watch these guys next year. It's already bad enough that Dallas is already further making me not want to watch NBA basketball because that's how much I freaking can't stand and I hate goddamn Dallas Mavericks because if not for the damn Clippers being unserious, they wouldn't be there. The Clippers get Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry on the roster. I swear, I might not. I might have to pull back on going into a dome the first night because I cannot support a product that is absolutely stupid. And this organization is actively trying to push their fans away when they believe they're actually getting their fans more invested. No, you are pushing your fans away by not doing the obvious thing. And it just goes to show you how stupid and idiot and how much of an idiot Lawrence Frank is. Paul George talk before I get out of here. So the Clippers really there was a report talking about the Clippers don't really want to pay Paul George like the amount that Kawhi Leonard got in his contract extension. Of course not. Why would we pay that loser that type of money, max money? I wouldn't even give in to any of his demands. I don't care if he comes to the negotiation table and says, I played more than Kawhi Leonard the past few years because Kawhi's been hurt. I played a role in getting this team to the Western Conference Finals. If I'm Lawrence Frank, Steve Ballmer, and any other front office member that has some sense of reason in there, I literally give him this look. And then I would say, well, Paul, where were you in the playoffs last year? You didn't do much of anything. With Kawhi out, we needed you to take the onus. We needed you to be the guy that's taking 20 plus shots a game. We need a guy that's efficient, a guy that's showing up when we need him most. You can make the argument to a case that James somewhat did his job in the role he did his job. But remember, James Harden's a third star. Yeah, Hoods had to be upgraded to a second star because Kawhi was hurt. I'll say this. James Harden had a better, honestly, I thought James Harden had a somewhat better playoff series than Paul George did. But regardless, Paul George does not deserve the max contract, and he does not deserve getting more money than Kawhi. Here's what Paul George is trying to do. He knows that if he returns to the Clippers on a team-friendly contract that helps the Clippers, he might be getting Blake Griffin, aka traded away for assets. Because the last few years, his name's been in trade talks. He's seen that, more than likely. He knows that the team might potentially trade him for assets because they know we need to get something back in return and we need to get some picks and everything. Let's see if we can get a team to maybe give us a first round pick for Paul George. He ain't stupid. He wants security to end off his career and he wants one more big payday. The guy knows that if he signs a freaking team-friendly contract or something lower than what Kawhi Leonard got, it's as easily as movable as it's an easy, movable contract a team would be willing to take, even if it is Paul George and how unserious he plays basketball at times. They know, well, it's still part of Paul George. We can only give up maybe a second and a first round for him, or 2 seconds and a first round for him. We'll take it, especially on that deal. It's simple. Chris Paul does not want to get Blake Griffin. He does not want to get traded mid-season because, well, lo and behold, he didn't get the money he wanted. And personally, if you ask me, I could care less. If you're actually to agree to a team-friendly deal, that would show you how much of an idiot the man it really is. If he wants the most money, the best thing to do is opt out and go freaking. The best thing is opt out of his contract and go sign with a team that's willing to give you the most money. People keep targeting him to the 76ers. You can go to Philadelphia. I don't give a damn. You see, he's lucky. Los Angeles Clipper fans, we're not as brutal. There are fans that are brutal and say some pretty insane shit on social media. But like, we're one of the more lackadaisical, fair fan bases in the NBA. Like with what I see, you can do something so miraculously, so great, aka Reggie Jackson. You can get your own fucking fruit snacks essentially, or PB&J bites, because that's your favorite snack to eat on, and then the fans will love you. But with Philadelphia, that's a whole different story. You mess up and you suck in Philadelphia, they will hate you. They will hate you till you can actually come through. And their vitriol is a lot more louder than what Clipper fans are in Los Angeles. But that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm going to get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Clippers content. I can't believe I had to literally rant and make a long video on my Memorial Day. The day I'm off. But I guess I had to because this report was absolute crap. The Clippers better get their shit together. And I hope this report about them wanting to acquire Chris Paul or Kyle Lowry is absolute false. They're just trying to push the fans away, and they are trying to actively get fans not to go to games and into a dome because of their own stupidity. I'm out of here. Peace.